Hello and welcome to Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento, California, the state's capital for the CIF State Basketball Championships. Up next is the girls' Division III final. From Northern California, the Sacred Heart Cathedral Fightin Irish out of San Francisco, taking on the Alemany Warriors of Mission Hill of Los Angeles County. Hello, everyone. I'm Kirsten Fairchild alongside Joey Gonzalez, courtside here at the Sleep Train Arena. Joey, such an exciting finish to the boys' D5 game, Horizon of Southern California with the buzzer beater. I hope ours is just as good.
Yeah, well, we've had some exciting matchups to go so far between the D5 girls matchup earlier on, and as you said, it's just an exciting finish there in D5. I agree with you. I think we should have an exciting matchup here between Sacred Heart Cathedral and Bishop Alemany.
Sacred Heart Cathedral brings a 25-6 overall record into this game. They went 11-1 to win the West Catholic Athletic League in front of the highly rated Archbishop Mitty Monarchs, which did not make the state championship tournament. They are the Monarchs, the D2 defending title. It's been the first appearance for Sacred Heart Cathedral since 2008. They are under a brand new head coach, Lorian Russell. Lorian Russell, a point guard for the Sacred Heart Cathedral boys team back in the day. He inherits a legacy of a program over there in San Francisco.
Oh, absolutely. That's, as you said, the fifth state title. They're 4-2 in title games, but their first opportunity here for Coach Russell to cement his legacy here for the Fightin Irish. Bishop
Alemany, the Warriors, 31-5 coming into this one, 9-1 in the Mission League. That tied for first was Chaminade. They are coached by Brian Camacho in his second year. Brian Camacho played nearby his Alemany squad at Bellarmine Jefferson High School, then went on to play at the College of the Canyons. Now he's a point guard. Always very interesting when your head coach is a point guard.
Well, it's great because that's the captain of the ship. He knows how to run the ship, and he knows how to play, how to coach his team, get his point guards out there, and point guard play is always important here when it comes to high school basketball.
Sacred Heart Cathedral, a national ranking of 96, 20th in the state. Bishop Alemany, 43 in the nation, 12 in the state. Again, the Southern California team comes into this favored.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But they're trying to win their first state title. It's Sacred Heart Cathedral with the experience, or I should say the tradition. Alemany trying to win appearing in only their second state title game, trying to win their first ever state title. The boys did it last year. They're going to see whether or not the girls can go ahead and do it this year.
We're going to step away for the national anthem. Thank you for listening to PlayOnSports.com. Pre-game show, the D3 final. Who's the best Division III school in the state? Find out when we return to PlayOnSports.com in just a moment. Sacred Heart Cathedral Fightin Irish, the oldest Catholic high school in San Francisco, taking on Bishop Alemany Warriors out of Mission Hills of Southern California. Last year's champion Bishop O'Dowd beat Laguna Hills 62-24, a very decisive victory. Bishop O'Dowd now in the open final this year. That opens the door for another champion, someone else to take the crown. Sacred Heart Cathedral hasn't been here since 2008. Bishop Alemany not since 1998. Joey, these two teams are fired up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And as I was saying earlier, Bishop Alemany looking to win their first ever state title. The boys did it in this division last year, won their first ever state title, so now the girls are trying to go ahead and follow suit as well.
Sacred Heart Cathedral, this is their 7th appearance. They have won 4, lost 2. The seating committees for both the Northern California, Southern California Regional getting it right. Both Sacred Heart Cathedral and Alemany top seeds in their respective regionals.
Yeah, as you said, and as they've shown, they've come along a long ways. Alemany beating Chaminade 60-47 in the Southern Regional. Sacred Heart Cathedral beating St. Ignatius 46-28. And this is what we expected out of this bracket, is these two teams to meet up.
Sacred Heart Cathedral brings a 5-game win streak into this one. They lost to Lynbrook in the sectional open championship 46-44. That sent shockwaves through the Central Coast section. Perhaps, however, the best thing to happen to this team, according to their assistant coach, Demetrius Rockmore, it woke this Fightin Irish up team up, helped them refocus, and they are ready for this challenge today.
Yeah, you said it exactly right. They went on and had to play in the consolation bracket, and it was very shocking to find out that they didn't even win their section or finish in the top in their section. Coincidentally, Alemany kind of having the same type of background. They didn't win their section, and so it fired them up to come in with for the SoCal Regionals.
Alemany riding a 15-game win streak coming into this game. They went undefeated at home this season, protected their home turf, 11-0. They have not lost since January 17th. That was a 49-46 loss to Chaminade, but then they got the Chaminade team back on February 5th, beat them 57-50.
Yeah, and we were talking about experience coming into this one. Alemany only their second ever state title appearance. This team has never been to this level, but Coach Brian Camacho, having led Bellarmine Jefferson to a state D5 title in 09. Usually, if your head coach has experience, that's where the experience is really going to come from.
Joe, I promise I wasn't lurking, but I was outside the Alemany locker room, and I have to say, as pregame speeches go, Coach Camacho was delivering a sermon. Everyone was so moved, so fired up. Sometimes it's the intangibles like that that actually make a difference out on the floor. It's
interesting. I had the opportunity to watch a recent documentary on Coach Valvano, and it reemphasizes how important a head coach is to a squad, and not only building character and building student athletes, but getting the team fired up and getting your players to want to go through a wall for you.
Let's go for the starting lineup. Starting at point guard for Sacred Heart Cathedral, the 5'2" sophomore, Kayla Kaloyan. The 2 guard, the 5'7" junior, Gianna Summers Luaulu. The 3 guard, Brianna Smith, a 5'6" senior, Ashley Gaynor, the 5'8" senior forward at the post player, and starting at center, the 6' sophomore, Ashanti Coleman. Bishop Alemany will go with their point guard, Janessa Bonoya, the 5'6" freshman and the juggernaut on the defensive side of the ball. The shooting guard, Leslie Lopez Wood, 5'9" senior, Clarissa Larios, the 5'8" senior, is the 3 guard, and Adora Obi is the post player, the 5'11" junior, Hannah Johnson, the 6'1" junior center. A lot of underclassmen on both of these teams.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you get a lot of underclassmen, because not only are you building for the future, but for them, it says a lot about a squad, and it says a lot about a coach when you get a lot of underclassmen up to this level.
Our officials today, the referee is Olga Espinosa. Umpire number 1 is Julian Perlman. Umpire number 2 is Becca Delworth. Sacred Heart Cathedral in their white uniforms with forest green piping. Alemany in all black with maroon and gold, maroon numbers, gold piping. High school girls basketball, 4 8-minute quarters, 30 seconds on the shot clock. A state championship on the line. Sacred Heart Cathedral, 25 wins. Bishop Alemany, 31 wins. Jumping center for Bishop Alemany, they are the Warriors, is Hannah Johnson, the 6'1" junior. And for Sacred Heart Cathedral, the sophomore, the 6-footer, Ashanti Coleman. Alemany to go right to left in front of the official table here at Sleep Train. Kirsten Fairchild's Joey Gonzalez. This is the third game on the slate here in Sacramento. Another state champion to be crowned.
It's going to be interesting to see how both of these squads handle those championship game jitters. Once those are out of the way, then it just becomes another basketball game.
Out to get underway here, our referee. And it looks like the Fightin Irish control the tap quickly off the left side with the bucket. Sacred Heart Cathedral out front on Summers. Lua'ulu with the bucket. Full court pressure by the Fightin Irish. Both of these teams play up tempo. We'll see a lot of trapping defense from both squads. Alemany finally crossing the center line. Bedoya goes to work, already a behind-the-back dribble. Switching defense from the Fightin Irish. Bedoya pulls up her dribble, gets the ball inside by the free throw line. 5 on the shot clock left. Very noisy in here. Shot goes off, doesn't hit the rim, and they're going to call a foul. I wasn't sure that hit the rim. We had a shot clock change, but we'll wait here.
Yeah, the shot clock did reset there, Kirsten. It didn't look like it had hit the rim. I think it just hit the corner there, though, and so it did draw some iron.
Ashley Gaynor called on the foul for the Fightin Irish as Alemany inbounds. Perfect play, however, no execution. Got it into the right post, but the shot missed. A 3 attempt from the left top of the arc. Rims out, loose ball. They're going to say Alemany touched it last, out of bounds, Fightin Irish ball.
Yeah, Alemany is going to have to start getting that stroke going early.
Brianna Smith to inbound. And now Kaloyan with the ball. She brings it, and it's deflected out of bounds on the far sideline. Again, Fightin Irish left to right here at Sleep Train Arena. Kaloyan, the sophomore, running the show here. Has the ball on the left wing, in the left corner. 12 on the shot clock for the Fightin Irish, up 2-0. Top of the arc, now down to 5. And the freshman point guard, the sophomore guard takes it in the paint for the bucket. That looked way too easy. 4-0 Fightin Irish.
You cannot give easy lanes.
Bedoya takes it coast to coast, but then delivers an air ball. And it's collected by Fightin Irish. Little jitters from Alemany here early.
Yeah, Bedoya short on her first 2 attempts. She's going to have to start connecting here.
Summers Lua'ulu gets it into Gaynor. Gaynor in the paint from the left side. Back iron, bounces it around, and Alemany clears the boards. Bedoya slowing down a little. Playing a pedal to the metal. She's got the ball on the right side. Fightin Irish opening in man. We'll see a lot of different defensive schemes, and a shot from the left post from the Alemany. Whistle blown by our officials. And heading to the line to shoot 2 is Hannah Johnson. You'll have to like the way Johnson just said, that's a shooting foul. We forget that I don't have to wait for the official call.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Johnson taking it directly to the hole, and that's one of the challenges going to happen here for Sacred Heart Cathedral for the Irish defensively, is they're going to have to find a way to slow down that combination of Lopez Wood and Hannah Johnson, and Johnson trying to take it early to Sacred Heart Cathedral.
At the 5:54 mark, Alemany on the scoreboard after 2 completed free throws by Johnson. 4-2, the Fightin Irish with the ball and in a 4-2 lead. Fightin Irish easily breaking any kind of pressure. Right side baseline jumper, no good. Offensive rebound, however, by the Fightin Irish. It's Ashanti Coleman with a nice spin move and a bucket. Back out in front, 6-2.
The Warriors going to have to do a better job of keeping the Irish off the glass.
Bedoya earning oohs and ahs with her dribbling skills. Nice look inside into the paint. However, the Warrior intended for didn't have her hands ready. Stays Alemany ball as the Warriors make their first substitutions of the ball game. Now, Alea Byers, the 5'10" sophomore, checks into the lineup. 5:21 left to go in the first quarter. Alemany inbounding, trailing 6-2. 3 attempt from the left side, hits the rim, and Fightin Irish there with the rebound. Fightin Irish easily breaking this pressure.
Yeah, they're doing a good job there.
Summers Ulu over to Kaloyan. Kaloyan finding her teammate Gaynor. Gaynor, nice passing, nice distribution. Coleman with the bucket from the left side. 8-2 Fightin Irish.
Kind of surprised.
3 attempt, rims out from the white ring for the Warriors, and it's 1 and out for Alemany once again.
Sorry, Kirsten, I was going to say I'm kind of surprised that the Irish are getting such easy looks inside so far.
They are taking it to the rack as jump ball called. I tell you, Coleman has just staked out her territory there at the left post, and I don't know what they're going to do about her.
No, they're going to have to find a way to move her off that block.
4:33 left to go. Possession error favors Alemany. And the Warriors break the pressure nicely. And a chance for 3 as they take it coast to coast. Nice lay-in from the left side with the left hand by Bedoya, and that ought to get our engine going.
Oh, absolutely. I think at this point right now, Alemany is going to have to do a much better job of just settling down. They like to do a lot of pressing, use a lot of traps to force turnovers. As you said, at Sacred Heart Cathedral doing a good job early on of breaking that press and finding some easy looks inside. Alemany is going to have to find a way to make things more difficult here for the Irish.
Bedoya converts. 4:28 left to go. Sacred Heart Cathedral now up by 3, 8-5. Smith to inbound. Again, the Fightin Irish just methodically taking apart this full court pressure. And they go to work in their half-court offense. Throws away a turnover by the Fightin Irish as Byers with the interception, and then she gets stuffed, just palmed, if you will.
Yeah, sort of a sagging press I've seen here from Alemany, maybe not going the full force as they're usually accustomed to, trying to fill out Sacred Heart Cathedral and look to see how they're attempting to break the press.
That's always very confusing to me, or a little perplexing. If you're going to do it, do it.
Do it, yeah.
But maybe just trying to make the backcourt work a little harder for Sacred Heart Cathedral. Alemany at the 4-minute mark, still looking to get some plays going. We've seen a lot of individual effort, and off after the missed shot by Johnson, Fightin Irish rebound. The Fightin Irish fouled. So Brianna Calhoun, who checked in for Alemany, called on the foul. 3:57 left to go in the first quarter. Timeout on the floor. Sacred Heart Cathedral of San Francisco leading Alemany of Mission Hills 8-5 in the Girls D3 Championship.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for Play on Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Kirsten Fairchild, Joey Gonzalez, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday afternoon. Such an exciting time of year as far as any kind of basketball going at all sorts of different levels. Joey, such a pleasure to be here with you for this Girls D3 game. You know, Sacred Heart Cathedral has such a great legacy to that program, and I know they were considered a definite underdog coming into this one. Fightin Irish fans have to like the way they started out.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You know, you're talking about the legacy here in Sacred Heart Cathedral looking sort of like the underdog coming in. It was in 1998, the last time that Bishop Alemany was here. They lost to Sacred Heart Cathedral. So somewhat, I guess, Alemany looking for some sort of payback there and winning their first state title.
Brian Harrigan, the head coach for the Fightin Irish back then, he will be in action as the St. Francis of Mountain View girls coach later on as a nice mid-range jump shot from Angela Daly, the 5'7" junior who checked in at the timeout. Alemany going to work once again, and I feel a lot of individual effort, but not really any plays run now. Play being called out by Brianna Calhoun. 10 on the shot clock, however. Trying to get the ball down low, throws it into traffic. Fightin' Irish ball, 3:20 left to go. The Fightin' Irish on the move. Kaluyan trying to take it coast to coast, rims out, but she gets her own rebound. Nice bounce pass down low from the right side to the ringer and through by Coleman. Fightin' Irish up 12-5. Alemany coming back quickly, and again another 1-and-out situation after the miss. Loose ball on the floor, however, everyone hitting their knees.
Alemany's really trying to push up tempo, pick up speed, and get Sacred Heart on their heels. But Sacred Heart doing a great job early on right now, being able to sustain that up tempo, that speed that Alemany's trying to force.
Possession arrow favored the Fightin' Irish, who check in Kayrie Howard. Howard had 12 points to lead the Fightin' Irish in their Northern California regional win. And now some sloppy passing for the Fightin' Irish. Alemany with 2:45 left to go in the first, trailing 12-5. Goes to work. Long distance three from the arc. Nothing but net. You got to love the stroke by Lopez Wood.
Yeah, nice stroke. A turnover.
Fightin' Irish did such a good job taking care of the ball, but they've been turning it over left and right, it seems, and Alemany has taken advantage.
Yeah, and you wonder whether or not that big shot there, that three there by Lopez Wood, is probably going to settle her down, and the rest of Alemany. Lopez Wood, one of the leaders here of this squad. Generally what you need to see if you're one of the other role players is to see your stars start to settle down. As soon as you get that going, then you start feeling a lot more comfortable in the ball game.
14th foul on Fightin' Irish, first on Summers Luaulu. At the line for Alemany is Calhoun. And Calhoun makes it a 12-9 game. Fightin' Irish with the ball in the lead. 2:30 left to go. And the Fightin' Irish on the inbound pass throw it away.
And now Alemany is starting to force turnovers here. And while Sacred Heart, first part of this half has been first part of this quarter has been playing very disciplined ball, Alemany starting to force some turnovers and trying to chip away at this lead.
Cassandra Friedrich, the 5'6" junior, replaces Smith out on the floor for Fightin' Irish. As Calhoun to inbound, she has been a nice presence off the bench. She is running the show, brings it over the left side, partially deflected. Loose ball underneath the basket. And we're going to have Alemany stepping out of bounds, Fightin' Irish ball.
Good recovery there by the Irish.
We were saying earlier about the sagging press. It has been more effective than it looks.
Yeah.
But the Fightin' Irish bringing it onto their side and everything but in for Howard, who drove the lane from the right side. And the Alemany Warriors doing a much better job on the defensive glass. Gets it over the left wing from the corner. A three-point attempt misses. And looked like a lot of contact on the attempted putback. Fightin' Irish, however, throwing it away once again. That will give a coach fits.
Oh, unforced errors, unforced turnovers really wreak havoc on a coach. And those are situations you can't have back. You cannot give away the ball here, especially in a championship game.
1:47 remaining in the first quarter. The Fightin' Irish call a timeout to talk it over. Still up 12-9 on Alemany.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
Alemany Warriors, a clear favorite coming in this one, coached by Brian Camacho, again in his second year, a graduate of Bellarmine Jefferson High School. And he is a demonstrative, emotional coach. I don't know if he's sat down yet, Joey. Out of the timeout, Alemany with the ball, trailing by 3. Minute 47 left to go in the first. Fightin' Irish continue with this Extended 2-2-1 zone. Full court press. And Fightin Irish doing a good job knocking the ball out of bounds. That's Angela Daly knocking it out of bounds on the far side. Alemany moving right to left in front of us at the official table.
You know, Sacred Heart really doing a better job of running that press there. Just trying to delay moments or take minutes off the shot, seconds off the shot clock.
So Bedoya remains on the bench as Calhoun running the show here for Alemany. 10 on the shot clock. She brings it into the right side. Way off the miss, but there's a weak side rebound and a putback from Johnson. Johnson's been a spark for Alemany. It's a 1-point ball game with 78 seconds remaining.
Yeah, once Johnson starts to get things going here for Alemany, it's going to be trouble possibly for the Fightin Irish.
Alemany going for the trap on the right side.
Yeah, Alemany tries to trap in pretty much the entire length of the court. They were showing a soft trap earlier, or a soft press, I should say, earlier in the game, but they're really starting to amp up their defensive pressure now.
Bedoya returns with 66 seconds remaining as Calhoun has a seat. Fightin Irish, 15 on the shot clock, inbound. Kaloyan checked it as well, and she gets stripped. Fast break attempt. Bedoya holds up, gets the trailer, and a three rims out. Nice rebound, but the bucket misses, and Alemany continues to collect here as they have 45 seconds remaining in the first. Down by 1. Bedoya. And we have a moving screen called on Johnson. That hurts the momentum of Alemany.
It does. You can hear the boos from the crowd behind us, Kirsten, but I do believe that Johnson did step out a little bit on there to try to get some room.
Never a popular call with the fans. Fightin Irish, 10-second differential between game and shot. Game clock, 30 seconds remaining. Right wing for the Fightin Irish, up by 1. Great defense by Alemany. Shot clock down at 10. From the right wing for 3. Off its mark. Loose ball underneath the basket. Still waiting for call. Alemany ball with 15 seconds remaining.
Yeah, doing a much better job, Bishop Alemany, of keeping Coleman away from the ball that time.
Alemany has had to contend with this Fightin Irish full court pressure. And Bedoya in to handle the quarterbacking duties. 5 on the shot clock. Everyone screaming clock. Bedoya for long distance 3 hits the front rim. Not sure that's the shot they were looking for. Certainly a high risk opportunity. 1 quarter in the books. The Fightin Irish of San Francisco, Sacred Heart Cathedral, up 12-11 on the Alemany Warriors.
We'll have live coverage of spring sports from around the state of California in April and May. Join us this spring for championship coverage across California, including baseball, softball, track, and more. All brought to you by your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
Kirsten Fairchild's Joey Gonzalez, 1 quarter in the books at the CIF State Girls Basketball Champions Division III bracket. Bishop Alemany, the uncontested favorite, headed into this one, a 31-5 overall record. What I love about these two teams, which are very similar, I just love the defensive intensity we're seeing.
Oh, yeah, it's defense, and especially in the high school levels, it's really important and really interesting how you get the defensive pressure here. It's about forcing turnovers, and that's what both teams are trying to do, especially Alemany. They're trying to force turnovers with their press, with their traps, get out on the open floor and get some easy transition buckets. Sacred Heart Cathedral trying to take advantage and just pushing the tempo up the floor, trying to take advantage of that post play, and so they're doing a good job so far of breaking that soft press. We'll see whether or not Alemany can amp up that defensive pressure here in the second quarter.
Alemany to get the ball first in the second quarter, trailing 12-11, moving right to left in front of us at the Sleep Train Arena. Bedoya back in with her fellow starters. Bedoya, a lot of behind the back dribbles, but I haven't seen it put to great use, but she gets the ball down low, and a great move from behind from Coleman with the block on Johnson.
It seems to me that Bedoya needs to get her eyes up the floor, and generally that's what you're taught as a guard, is got to get your eyes up the floor.
A three from the left corner for Smith of the Fightin Irish. San Francisco team back out in front by 4. Alemany needs some help. Still trying to get the ball across the center line. They finally do. Bedoya over to the right side. Another three. This one goes down by Lopez Wood. We've barely called her name tonight. She trims the deficit to 1. Fightin Irish with the ball, top of the arc. Kaloyan over to the right side. 3-point attempt from the right corner. Too strong, but another putback attempt by Coleman, and she misses wildly, and Daly gets fouled on her attempt. So Daly heads to the line to shoot 2. That's just the 3rd team foul on Alemany.
You know, interesting rebound there by Coleman. Johnson was covering Coleman there on the low block. Johnson has a height advantage on Coleman, so she's going to have to do a much better job of boxing out Coleman. Hasn't happened so far.
That foul on Byers, her first personal, as Obi and Calhoun return for Alemany.
You want to keep your opponent off the offensive glass, Kirsten, because offensive rebounds lead to second chance points for your opponent.
Daly missed her first, shooting right into that Alemany crowd. She silenced them by making her second. 16-14, Fightin Irish on defense with the lead, 6:45 remaining in the first half. Again, some good moves by the point guards of Alemany, but there's no effectiveness.
There's no movement. It's just one-on-one play.
Yes, very one-on-one as they a drive from the left side, layup misses wildly. So again, it's like there's so much effort and intensity from Alemany, but where's the structure?
Exactly. They need to do a lot better job executing their offensive sets, and that hasn't happened so far. Give credit to Sacred Heart's defense, though. They're really out there attacking defensively.
Sacred Heart Cathedral always, it doesn't matter who their coach is, very businesslike as they go to work in their half-court offense. Kaloyan with some moves of her own, nothing fancy, but gets the job done as she drives the paint, puts up the shot, and puts her team out by 4 with 6 minutes left to go in the first.
A lot of behind-the-back dribbling there by Kaloyan, but able to make things happen there.
And a long baseball throw works for Alemany as they break the full-court press, but then the shot attempt goes over the backboard by Obi, Sacred Heart Cathedral ball. Well, it should be. I think our officials are going to talk this over. Maybe it was partially deflected.
I thought it was.
But
I thought it was. I thought it had gone off the iron, off the backboard.
Right,
entirely,
but I guess if it was they're saying maybe a Fightin Irish got her hands on it as Larios returns. Right. Obi has a seat.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't catch it. I thought it was. I didn't see an Irish player touch it, but the officials have a much better look than I do.
Howard replaces Daly out on the floor for the Fightin Irish. 16 on the shot clock for Alemany after the inbound from the right side. Gets the ball into Johnson. Johnson gets stuffed by Coleman. Fightin Irish recover.
Johnson's going to have to do a much better job in the post.
Kaloyan, top of the arc. Good perimeter passing by the Fightin Irish. Find the open man, but the 3 attempt does not go down. As Alemany comes back.
Looks to me that Irish have much better offensive execution, and Alemany sometimes scrambling.
And a good drive by Johnson on the right side. She has trimmed the deficit to 2, but Sacred Heart Cathedral just comes right back. No rest for the weary. Ball bouncing their way as Coleman just drains a 10-footer in the paint, keeps them up by 4. Alemany again breaking the pressure, and I tell you, without the play of Johnson, who misses from the left side but draws the shooting foul and will head to the line, Alemany's offense is just stagnant.
It is very stagnant. It looks like a lot of scrambling, no real execution on the offensive end. And coming into this game, Kirsten, it was looked at as Alemany's the team to push tempo, but Sacred Heart Cathedral has really been forcing tempo here so far on Alemany.
Jasmine Dodd checks into the lineup, as well as Byers return for Alemany. Johnson makes her first. Now, Johnson is a junior. Her coach told me Pac-12 teams have already come a-calling. She makes her first. Misses her second. Sacred Heart Cathedral there to collect. Fightin Irish for the 2017 lead. 4:45 left to go. The layup missed by the Fightin Irish. This game, boy, you better be in shape for this one. Again, Bedoya fancy moves, drawing ooh and ahs, but where is the finish?
Yeah, she's got a lot of crossovers, but has not been able to shake the defense there. And fortunately for her, able to get to the free throw line this time. But as you said there, not a lot of finish, some fancy, dribbles, and I'd love to have those kind of handles, I'll tell you that, but unable to execute.
Kaloyan called on her first personal, 6th team foul on the Fightin Irish as Bedoya misses her first. I guess maybe we're doing a little bit of armchair quarterbacking because if that's what she's got to do to shake those Fightin Irish defenders, more power to her, right?
Well, there's a reason why she's gotten this far.
That's right. 0 for 2 effort, however, from Bedoya as the Fightin Irish bringing it up, pushing the tempo as they do. However, they turn it over and right into the hands of Bedoya. Bedoya, spin move from the right side, from the left side, still does not fall, and the whistle blows. And as perhaps our listeners can hear, we've got Alemany right behind us.
You can hear the loud stomps. Folks not happy with the calls and really not happy that the ball is not finding the bottom of the net here for the Warriors.
So Alemany's, I believe it was Dodd that foul was called on Byers as the Fightin Irish with the ball left to right. Inbounding, 4:15 left to go in the first half, 2017 San Francisco team leads. Fightin Irish showing a lot of composure, and that is a charge against Summers. Luaulu almost looked like she swatted at the defender who was mauling her.
Yeah, and Lopez Wood looked over at the official, wondering where the call was. Kind of a late whistle, but it's almost as if she slapped away from it. Yeah.
So kind of a mental error, if you will, there. A little certainly no animosity behind that, I don't think. Just more get out of my face. 4 minutes left to go. Is this the break Alemany needed? Trailing by 3. Fightin Irish staying in this man defense. A spin move, a dish. Perhaps the best executed play of the night. Johnson finishes from the left side. Alemany up by 1. Nope, they've taken the lead. Stole the inbound pass, made the bucket. Alemany fans, which have traveled, are ecstatic, and now a 1 and out for the Fightin Irish. I think Sacred Heart Cathedral, no timeouts getting called yet.
Not an opportunity yet.
Huge momentum shift. 3:17 left to go. Alemany leads for the first time today. 8 on the shot clock for the Warriors, however. Lopez Wood from the right side, short, and stays Alemany ball.
That was sort of a frantic shot there by Lopez Wood, looking to draw a call possibly on Sacred Heart Cathedral. Interesting tempo. Tempo has really picked up here last couple of minutes here in this ball game, Kirsten.
We have a media timeout on the floor. Media timeout, 3:01 left to go in the first. Alemany is clawing, scratching, doing whatever they can. It finally pays off. They're up 21-20 over Sacred Heart Cathedral.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Well, it was a very slow, jittery start for Alemany, but they have been able to strip Sacred Heart Cathedral, steal, deflect, and that kind of effort is finally paying off as some of their post players are getting hot.
Active hands and a lot of moving of your feet is what's going to be able to create turnovers. That pressure defense looks like it's starting to pay off here for the Warriors. And Sacred Heart Cathedral, and for a moment, had a momentary lapse there. It looked like they were getting a little flustered.
7 fouls on Sacred Heart Cathedral. Just 4 on Alemany. 3:01 left to go. Alemany with the ball. Underneath its basket. Gets the ball inbounds. Bedoya. Off to Calhoun. Now, we haven't seen the two of them out on the floor at the same time. I think they're going to make a very difficult combination for Fightin Irish to deal with. 12 on the shot clock. A runner misses from Larios. But they're going to call a push on Larios, I believe. Fightin Irish ball.
Yeah, Larios getting called for the, or was that Larios or Byers?
Byers called on the foul.
That's her second.
No,
that's her third, yeah.
That's her third.
They just updated it. And
she'll have a seat as Obi replaces her. Sacred Heart Cathedral checks in back in Ashley Gaynor as Friedrich has a seat. 2:39 left to go. Alemany showing full court press. Fightin Irish breaking it and trying to take it coast to coast. Back iron still in the hands of the Fightin Irish. A few opportunities, and finally Alemany comes up with it after the misses. Calhoun from the left side to the trailer, Lopez Wood. Lopez Wood with the three. Alemany up 24-20. 2:15 left to go in the first half.
Lopez Wood really comfortable beyond that arc. Has hit 2 already.
Kaloyan driving the left side, picks up the screen, misses the layup. Fightin Irish just going cold with its shooting. Alemany coming back quickly. Calhoun to Lopez Wood again with the trail. Forced that one. Kaloyan there with the rebound. Gets it off to the Fightin Irish, but, you know, they weren't ready for it.
No.
And Alemany calls a timeout. So timeout on the floor. 1:45 left to go in the first half. It's wild, it's woolly, it's frantic, and it's fun. Alemany up 24-20 on Sacred Heart Cathedral.
Play on Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play on Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
A Division III girls title, a state championship on the line. Alemany certainly not lacking effort in the early going.
No, absolutely not. And we were talking earlier how, and I had mentioned how it seemed that Sacred Heart Cathedral was trying to force tempo upon Alemany, but now Alemany is really caught up and really starting to push this game against Sacred Heart Cathedral.
So the Fightin Irish must have turned it over right in front of the Alemany bench. That allowed them to call the timeout as Fightin Irish call off the dogs here on the full court pressure. 1:40 left to go as Bedoya walks it up. Bedoya, top of the arc. Up top, over to the right side. We haven't seen a lot of perimeter passing, and Alemany being very patient now on this possession. And Kaloyan knocking it out of bounds, stops the clock with 9 seconds left as Bedoya to inbound here on the left side, on the near side. As Larios trying to check in, she does not check in in time. Yep. 5 on the shot clock, Calhoun. Calhoun with the spin move, a runner, back iron. And we saw the move there by Johnson from the right post, but she's called on the walk.
Yeah.
Fightin Irish ball.
Took a couple of hop steps there to get that ball up, but one of the reasons why Sacred Heart Cathedral had dropped into a zone, they were a 3-2 zone, so slowed things down there for Alemany.
70 seconds remaining in the first half. Fightin Irish again bringing it up. Fightin Irish with some moves of its own. Pass off to the right side. In traffic, the shot continues to go to, the rebound continues to go to the Fightin Irish until Alemany clears it.
Alemany doing a much better job of cleaning the glass here in this second quarter.
Bedoya with the ball. Now over to Calhoun. Wild bounce pass from Calhoun, turns it Nope, stays Alemany ball after it heads out of bounds.
Yeah, you can see Lopez Wood really getting on Calhoun, saying that she needs nice, crisp passes, especially if you're feeding the post.
So 12 on the shot clock. Alemany. Nope, turns it over to Fightin Irish. Kaloyan 1-1. Short if she's had a number of opportunities as Alemany brings it back. 30 seconds remaining off the fast break. Good feed from the left side, a reverse, another miss, and Fightin Irish, 20 seconds remaining. And Kaloyan decides to pull up a wise move.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to hold for the final shot here in this half.
10 seconds remaining in the first half. Kaloyan trying to find someone open. She does. And a foul called. However, that's just the sixth. So the clock stops with 4.6 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, it was not a shooting foul, so not really a bad move there by Obi, but Obi needs to get her feet moving there. That time she tried to close down, collapse there on the ball handler.
So gainer to inbound, 4.4 seconds for Sacred Heart Cathedral to work with. Kicks it out. Summers Laulu drives the lane, picks it off her pocket, off her hip, and misses. The Fightin Irish dismal shooting in the second quarter. Alemany trailed after one. They lead it at the half, 24-20 over the Fightin Irish. Joey, your impressions of the first half thus far?
Well, I think early on it seemed that Sacred Heart Cathedral was doing a good job there, handling the pressure there of Alemany. They're forcing tempo there on the Warriors. But in that second quarter, it seems, you get that proverbial jitters, get rid of those proverbial jitters there. And it seemed to me that Alemany was doing a much better job of handling the pressure. And then it started really amping up their defensive pressure on the Fightin Irish. Great game here. It's going really back and forth. I love the tempo and speed that this game is played at. Really allows for a high-scoring contest.
The first half in the books. Alemany of Southern California up 24-20 over Sacred Heart Cathedral of San Francisco. We're going to step away for a few minutes, but be back with our PlayOnSports.com halftime show. We're live at Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento. Time now for the PlayOnSports.com halftime show live at Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento, California for the CIF State Championships, the Division III girls title game. Bishop Alemany of Mission Hills in Southern California up 24-20 over Sacred Heart Cathedral of San Francisco. Kirsten Fairchilds, Joey Gonzalez. Joey, what a first half comeback, if you will, by Alemany.
Yeah, frenetic pace, to say the least, but Alemany doing a good job there of being able to come back and starting to force their tempo upon Sacred Heart Cathedral there, especially in the second quarter there.
Looking at the stats, what stuck out?
Well, I think what's really looking to me is the rebounding numbers here for Sacred Heart Cathedral, and more importantly, I should say for Alemany. More importantly, the offensive rebounds. It's interesting here. Alemany has 22 rebounds total, 11 offensive. So have split the rebounding totals down in half. Where looking at Sacred Heart Cathedral, they do have 9 rebounds, 26 rebounds total, but 9 offensively. The other thing that I'm looking at here is three-point shooting. Alemany is 3 of 11 from 3. Sacred Heart Cathedral only have 4 attempts, but they only have knocked down 1. So looking at the leading scorers is expected Leslie Lopez Wood. And
really being able to establish a strong sense of momentum.
No, and it gives that up to the defense there on both sides. I think that the hectic pace here, it seems it's gotten into a game of who wants to score, who's trying to score first. And, well, sometimes, I mean, obviously that's the key point. That's what you want to do. It needs to happen effectively. And it doesn't look like it's really happened so far that effectively on both sides.
Larios misses her first attempt. Larios, a senior, will play at Cal Lutheran in the fall. Pretty dismal free throw shooting night thus far, 5 of 12 for Alemany. Make it 6 of 13. 29-22, Alemany.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kirsten, it's so important for a squad to knock down those free throws because late in the game, those free throws misses can come back to haunt you.
Well, and Sacred Heart Cathedral's 1 of 2. They haven't been able to get to the line. Fightin Irish on offense in their half-court set. Smith from the left side missing. Rebound offensively. Fightin Irish with another opportunity. And a foul called on Alemany. I think that should be on the floor. I don't think that was a shooting foul. And Alemany's Calhoun, who checked in, her second personal. First team foul. Fightin Irish inbound. 4:25 left to go in the third. Trailing 29-22.
Yeah, Alemany back in the 2-3 zone.
And Fightin Irish turn it over on a bounce pass. A lot of turnovers on the bounce passes today. Calhoun running the point. Johnson way beyond the arc. Perimeter passing by the Warriors. 10 seconds on the shot clock. From the right elbow, the pass to Bedoya. Bedoya having a hard time coming up with it. 3 on the shot clock. Gets it to Johnson. Johnson gets blocked. Good defensive effort by the Fightin Irish.
Great interior post defense there by the Irish.
Summers Luaulu driving the lane from the left side. Another big miss on the layup. Doesn't even hit the rim. Loose ball underneath the basket.
Yeah, it seemed to me that she may have rushed a shot there a little bit right there, Kirsten. She was probably a lot more wide open than she had anticipated, and she just shortchanged it on the left-hand layup.
Possession arrow favored Alemany. Media timeout. 3:31 left to go in the third. Alemany 29, Sacred Heart Cathedral 22.
Follow us, Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Very young teams out on the floor. The future looks bright for both squads. Sacred Heart Cathedral, very composed, very businesslike, but where's the I asked this about Alemany. I just feel like when you're not running plays,
right,
it just makes your life so much more challenging.
It does, and it looks to me that the play here, with especially coming from Alemany, a lot of those one-on-one plays, it seems to me that their ball handlers, not Larios, but it was Bedoya, and at sometimes Calhoun, they're looking for bag picks. They just keep handling that ball, looking for a bag pick from Johnson or Lopez Wood.
Out of the timeout, 3:30 left to go. Alemany on the move, left to right on offense, up 29-22. Calhoun handling the ball. Calhoun picking up a screen, passes it off. Johnson in the paint. Good move, strong move, gets her own rebound after the miss, puts it up, bounces out, gets her third opportunity, but they're going to call a foul on the Fighting Irish.
At that time, I saw a nice, better play set up. It was just your typical pick and roll. Johnson doing a much better job of rolling to the basket. Sacred Heart Cathedral switched it, and Johnson, though, however, able to still come up with it and try to force something.
Summers Luaulu, her third personal. She heads off the floor. 3:07 left to go. Alemany has really benefited from the height of Johnson and Lopez Wood. They have been the scorers as Lopez Wood, a beautifully executed inbound play from the right side with the right hand, 31-32. Fightin Irish facing its biggest deficit of the night. Come back, runner on the right side, high off the glass. They need a little more like that from Smith. Smith with the bucket, 2:45 left to go in the third, 7-point ball game. Alemany trying to drive from the right side. Smith pushing the fast break, 3-on-2. Kaloyan for three from the right side, too strong. And two Fightin Irish players fighting for the ball, and instead it's going to be Alemany ball.
You talked about earlier the height between Johnson and Lopez Wood, and that was a question coming into this contest, Kirsten, was how Sacred Heart Cathedral was going to contend with that. And what they would have had to do was use pressure defense, and they just have to move their feet, get faster to the ball there in order to beat this Alemany team.
Coleman, the sophomore 6-footer, drawing the Johnson defensive assignment as Alemany on offense in their half-court offense. Johnson working on Coleman. Johnson, strong move from the right side. Coleman blocks from behind. Defensive stop. 2-on-1 for the Fightin Irish. And a layup too strong. Boy, how many times have I said that today? A lot of wildly missed layups. Alemany called on the foul, however. And Smith providing a spark. She is at the line to shoot two.
Yeah, well, Smith having an opportunity here. Really taking advantage or pushing tempo here and forcing the official to make a call.
My apologies. It's Howard at the line, and she makes her first as OB checks in. Byers has a seat. 2:08 left to go in the third. Just the third free throw attempted by the Fightin Irish in this game. They're 3 of 4 after the 2 of 2 effort from Howard. Alemany out by 5. Calhoun working hard on Howard to bring it up, and Howard's going to be called on the hand check.
Yeah, probably a little too aggressive there. She had done a good job forcing Calhoun to waste some time on the shot clock using that full court press, but getting those hands out there, that's when you're going to get whistled on the hand check call.
Her second personal, 14 foul, less than 2 to go.
Very close to a 5-second call there on the inbound, Kirsten.
Yeah. Calhoun handing it off to Bedoya. Bedoya, another behind the back dribble, working on Kaloyan. Lopez Wood with the ball. Over to Johnson. Johnson trying to the backdoor pass, but throws it away.
Yeah, OB was looking for the ball, had position, but Johnson going a little too far there, out of the outstretched arm there of OB.
Bishop Alemany calls a timeout. 1:40 left to go in the third. Alemany up 31-26.
We'll have live coverage of spring sports from around the state of California in April and May. Join us this spring for championship coverage across California, including baseball, softball, track, and more. All brought to you by your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Alongside Joey Gonzalez, I'm Kirsten Fairchild. Thank you for joining us on PlayOnSports.com. We're live at Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento, the Girls D3 Championship. We'll be here throughout the duration, a crew representing all different sections. We come from all over the state of California, converged here in Sacramento to bring you the best of California State basketball. Fightin Irish out of the timeout with the ball. Again, they've had no problem breaking the full court pressure. It's what they do when they get into their offensive set. What they did this time, a jumper from the left side from Coleman to make this a three-point ball game.
Great execution there by the Irish. Good job on the defensive end. That time getting it knocked out of bounds there on Gaynor, but an opportunity here or to force Alemany to set up an offensive set.
Coleman with 10 points in this ball game, the only one in double digits for the Fightin Irish. 1:23 left to go in the third. Lopez Wood to inbound on the far sideline. Gets it to Johnson. Johnson working on Coleman. Johnson from the left side, and she caught Coleman moving. Johnson will head to the line to shoot two.
And that's a third on Coleman, and Coleman's the only, I would say, the only defensive option.
She's
on
the only
Johnson.
true post.
Yeah, the only true post that Sacred Heart Cathedral has. And so it's going to be interesting to see here what Coach Russell does with his lineups and whether or not he'll keep Coleman in there.
Sacred Heart Cathedral traditionally seems to be undersized when they make it to the state championship game. That's why they run that four-guard system so effectively, as Johnson makes her first and then airballs it on the second, and very half-hearted airball cries from the Sacred Heart Cathedral fans.
You can hear them, but they are somewhat faint out there.
Alemany up 32-28, minute 15 left to go in the third. And what a spark. Kyrie Howard has been off the bench, takes it, pulls up from the right elbow. The jump shot goes down and through. 2-point ball game.
Love it when you see a kid be able to jump and stop and hit that mid-range jumper. That mid-range jumper has almost become a lost art here in basketball.
We're going to have a moving screen on Johnson. That's the second time today as Kaloyan fell to the floor. 56 seconds remaining. Fightin Irish ball.
Well, Johnson again, she likes to kind of poke that hip out there to trip up the defender. The ball handler has to do a better job of coming off that screen. You almost have to rub off of her.
Sophomore Kaloyan bringing the ball up, getting it to Howard. Howard's had the hot hand for a team that has lacked one. Now Smith on the left side, playing catch with Gaynor. Very small lineup with the exception of Coleman for Fightin Irish. 8 on the shot clock, 34 on the game clock. 5 on the shot clock, loose ball on the floor, and Alemany comes up with it, 27 seconds remaining in the third. Bedoya gets the ball stolen, and a mental error there by Smith, who bounces the ball off herself. And then
unfortunate there for the Irish, but Irish, I love the defensive intensity. It's really picked up here late in the third quarter.
I love the intensity on defense and offense from Smith and Howard. 17 seconds left in the third as Calhoun with Howard in her pocket, walking, dribbling, and another moving screen on Johnson, the third time today. At some point you have to say, I need to stop doing what I'm doing. I continue to get called on it.
Well, she's been setting up screens. That's their call. That's their game set, is a pick and roll. And Kirsten, I really wonder what if Coach Russell had a little bit of indication at the halftime to tell the officials to watch Johnson on that screen.
Four left in regulation. Kaloyan, a runner from the third side, doesn't fall. Coleman doesn't get it up and misses anyway. Sacred Heart Cathedral has trimmed the deficit, but after 3, Alemany, 1 quarter away from a state title. They lead at 32-30.
We'll have live coverage of spring sports from around the state of California in April and May. Join us this spring for championship coverage across California, including baseball, softball, track, and more. All brought to you by your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
Back to the fouls called on Johnson. We have a chance to see the replay on the Jumbotron. She is throwing her hip.
She's been doing it all game long.
And
but it hasn't been. That's where I'm saying the ball handler has to do a better job of coming off that screen. Johnson has to stay set. She cannot poke that hip out. It may happen in the higher levels of basketball, but you're gonna get that call here in high school levels. And so that's where it leads me to believe that, maybe Coach Russell pulled one of the officials aside and as they're going into the locker room at halftime and said, take a look at Johnson on that pick and roll play and see, check out how she's setting those screens.
Yeah, absolutely. Lopez Wood, she is going to LMU on a full ride next season. Have not called her name a lot tonight. Fightin Irish doing a good job on her defensively. Sacred Heart Cathedral to begin things off in the fourth quarter with the first possession right to left. We're live at Sleep Train Arena. Joey Gonzalez, Kirsten Fairchilds bringing you the action of the CIF State Girls D3 Championship. Thank you so much for joining us. Sacred Heart Cathedral, 25 wins on the season, trailing by 2. They lost in the first round of their sectional championship. They were in the open division, the number 1 seed. They said, thank goodness things turned out the way they did, so they did not have to play Carondelet in the NorCal. They come out, get it to Coleman, right side, a big miss. She gets her own rebound, misses the second, and Johnson comes down with the rebound. Lopez Wood with the rebound.
Yeah, going up there strong for that rebound.
Absolutely. Alemany pushing the pace. Johnson, top of the arc, swings it over to Lopez Wood. Larios with the ball, guarded by Kaloyan. Johnson from the right side. Pulls up her dribble right in front of her head coach. 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Bedoya drives the lane and gets swatted away by Coleman. That's a get that thing out of my face.
Interesting play set here by Alemany. They've moved Johnson down to the low post, down to the low block, took her off that high elbow there, so that she's not going to have an opportunity to set up those screens.
1.9 seconds remaining on the shot clock as Calhoun checks in to inbound. They've run some great inbound plays, however, as she throws it into traffic, and Sacred Heart Cathedral comes up with it. 3-on-1 for the Fightin Irish. Great fast break. The pass to Coleman on the right side. We're all tied up at 32. 50 seconds gone here in the fourth.
Perfect execution on that fast break and really doing a good job here on the 2-1-2 press.
Bedoya working on Calhoun. Alemany left to right. Ball on the left wing. Lopez Wood, top of the arc for a long distance 2. Bounces out. Loose ball underneath the basket. Players hitting the floor. Hot potato. Fightin Irish comes up with it. And we're going to have a foul call. Like 4 players from each team on the floor.
It's going to be interesting to see who this foul is called on.
And that goes against Alemany. Calhoun. That's her 3rd personal. Remember, Johnson and Calhoun with 3 each for Alemany. Sacred Heart Cathedral having 3 with Coleman and Gaynor.
Yeah, Calhoun is really going to have to watch herself now the rest of this game.
Fightin Irish should be taking it at Johnson every time. Fightin Irish having a rare, difficult time bringing it up, and head coach going to call a timeout to talk things over. 6:28. We're all tied up at 32. North versus South. Alemany versus Sacred Heart Cathedral. Mission Hills versus San Francisco. It's a good one here on PlayOnSports.com.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Kirsten Fairchild's with Joey Gonzalez, our producer today, Brian Hostler. A big thanks to everyone at Play On Sports, as well as all the folks here at Sleep Train Arena and the administration of the California Interscholastic Federation. It's a privilege and a pleasure to bring you high school sports. Happy to be live at Sleep Train Arena. 6:28 left to go out of the timeout. Fightin Irish, 12 on the shot clock as Kaloyan sends it over to the right side. 6 on the shot clock. Driving baseline, trapping defense by Alemany, and a walk called. It looked like the Fightin Irish came out of that timeout. Not certain what the shot clock situation was.
And that's inexcusable if you're coming out of the timeout. You need to know game situation coming out of that timeout, and you need to know what your play set is going to be.
Tied up at 32. Alemany backcourt. The guards just been pestered by this Fightin Irish squad all day long. Calhoun with the point guard duties at the moment. Gets it off to Lopez Woods. Johnson directing her teammates. The juniors telling the seniors what to do. 5 on the shot clock and the steal. Steal by the Fightin Irish, trying to take it coast to coast. What an effort by Howard, and you saw how determined Lopez Wood was as she knocked the ball away.
Yeah, it was, and a great effort there by Howard. But she read that play the entire way, really overplaying those passing lanes. I think Lopez Wood needed to look for a backdoor situation there, just to go a backdoor cut, a hard cut going the other way.
Calhoun has a rest as Larios checks in for Alemany. Fightin Irish inbounds and throws it right into the hands of Bedoya. Interesting that Bedoya pulls up, and she gets it to Lopez Wood for 3. Rims out and into the hands of Howard.
She had a situation, clear floor, one-on-one situation by herself, and she pulls up.
Kaloyan with the runner with the left hand through the paint. Finally, something goes down for Kaloyan, and it hasn't been a lead since the start of the second quarter for the Fightin Irish. They're up on top 34-32 with 5:15 left to go.
Great comeback here by Sacred Heart Cathedral.
We had the first half comeback by Alemany. Is this the second half? Great backdoor look. Johnson to Lopez Wood from the left post. Alemany calls a timeout. They've practiced that a few times.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That hard play, overplay there by Smith, really giving an opportunity there for Lopez Wood to take that backdoor cut.
Timeout on the floor, all tied up at 34 after the bucket. 5:07 left to go in regulation.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Both teams have 1 timeout remaining. I think that speaks to the tempo of this ball game. There have been it has necessitated some timeouts to rest, make sure everyone's on the same page. I mean, really, when you think about it, the tempo of this game has been extraordinary.
Oh, it has, and it's been full court the entire way. Both sides really keeping pressure, trying to instill their tempo on the other side. I really like the way that Sacred Heart Cathedral has responded to the tempo that Alemany likes to control, likes to run. Generally, when one side imposes their tempo on the other, it's bad news, but Sacred Heart Cathedral has responded very well.
Out of the timeout, 5:07 left to go. Fightin Irish 34, Alemany 34. Ball stripped away from behind, remains Sacred Heart Cathedral ball. And you have to just admire the effort of Howard off the bench as she goes to inbound for the Fightin Irish.
She's really come in and made a difference defensively.
Gets the ball to Summers Laulu, who misses. Interesting enough, Summers Laulu is the best three-point shooter on this Fightin Irish team. I don't even know if she's made one attempt thus far. We have a blocking foul on Sacred Heart Cathedral. That's the 7th team foul, so it'll be 1-and-1 for Alemany. 4:52. Larios at the line to try to break this 34-34 tie.
Yeah, opportunity now here for Alemany. Really, if you're the Warriors, you're going to want to try to put pressure here on Sacred Heart Cathedral. Force them to put you on the line if you're the Warriors.
It bounces about and goes down and through. Alemany up by 1. Chance to make it 2. Perfect effort from Larios. 36-34 Alemany. Fightin Irish. On the move, Summers Laulu. Dribbling into the corner, thinks better of it, gets the ball. Hard shot, doesn't fall by Howard. Alemany is there to clear the glass.
Great job there by the Warriors.
Howard got a good look, but too hard, too much. 4:30 left to go. 36-34, Alemany with the ball in the lead, 10 on the shot clock. Gets the pass into Howard. Howard finds Larios in the middle of the paint. Howard distributing. It's a 4-point ball game. Fightin Irish calling a timeout. 4:14 left to go. Sacred Heart Cathedral trailing 38-34.
We'll have live coverage of spring sports from around the state of California in April and May. Join us this spring for championship coverage across California, including baseball, softball, track, and more. All brought to you by your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
Sacred Heart Cathedral calling its final timeout. Still 4:14 left to go.
Well, Coach Russell has really had, you wonder whether or not these, timeouts are going to cost you. We may have another media timeout down the road, and I believe we will, and maybe perhaps that's what Coach Russell is banking on. But in a ball game this tight, you'd like to have some of those timeouts in your pocket.
I always feel like this is an interesting situation for teams. The media timeouts,
right,
for the most part, unless you're a nationally ranked team like the Midi Boys or something to that
right,
effect, they don't, media timeouts? I don't know if it kind of messes with your mind just a little bit. It's you certainly can't rely upon something you don't know when it's coming.
You don't, and I understand Coach Russell is really, you coach the game to win the game, and, perhaps it's not something he's really even considering, but he really wants to make sure that Sacred Heart Cathedral comes away with this one. So he's going to pull out all the stops.
4:14 left to go. Fightin Irish with the ball, trailing by 4. It's been a great effort from Alemany's Lopez Woods. She's got 13. Her fellow post Johnson has 12. Big part of this offense. And see, now Coach Russell cannot believe that he has 0 timeouts. It's so funny. On my way in, I was listening to the Temple North Carolina State game, and the announcers were saying that North Carolina State was all out of all their timeouts, and it turns out they had another one, I believe. So Russell, obviously, that's where assistant coaches need to come into play. Fightin Irish inbound the ball. They have to rely on substitutions this way through to stop the clock. Well, not even to stop the clock, to change the makeup. And Alemany called with the blocking foul. That goes against Byers. Perhaps you can hear the boos. And it's her 5th personal.
Yeah, and that's the situation. If that's her 5th personal, then she's done. There, and unfortunately, and they were going to go ahead and inbound. They still don't know the situation here. And I was able to watch the replay here, Kirsten, and I understand why Alemany fans are upset, because the ball handler did not seem to have control of the ball. And to get called, it's almost as if Sacred Heart Cathedral was bailed out there on that call.
Obi will replace Byers. So, Alea Byers, the sophomore, the defensive juggernaut, the 6th man on the squad, fouling out with 4:04 left to go. Fightin Irish inbound underneath its basket. The runner for Summers Lulu. She just is not hot today.
No, today is not her day. And coming into this game, Sacred Heart Cathedral needed a good game from Lualulu in order, if they were expecting to pull this one out. They still have a shot, though.
Fightin Irish 1 and out. 3:45 left to go. Alemany in their half-court offense set. 10 seconds, however, on the shot clock. Larios with the ball. Larios to Johnson. Johnson kicks it back out and throws it away. Fightin Irish Now setting up their offense. Kaloyan on the right side. Brings it back up top. 3:20 left to go. Fightin Irish trailing by 4. Summers Laululu with 8 seconds. 7 on the shot clock. Kaloyan. 5 on the shot clock. Summers Laululu trying to break loose. Gets a 3 up. It's short. And that is a shot clock expiration. Credit the defense of Alemany. But again, it seems like the Fightin Irish are unaware of the shot clock.
Yeah, you need to know game situation when you're out there on the floor. Get your eye up out there, take a look at it, but you need to know game situation.
A media timeout, so it looks like the media timeouts are coming with around the 3-minute mark. Alemany has 1 timeout remaining, none for the Fightin Irish. Alemany up 38-34.
Stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show where we will select our player of the game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Kirsten Fairchild's Joey Gonzalez courtside at Sleep Train Arena.
Yeah, here, and you can see one of the assistant coaches coming up here for Sacred Heart Cathedral trying to get a game reset. And
well, I think it's for the timeout situation,
right,
because the official book is over as well.
Yeah, they're looking. They have they want to make sure that they have the official book and their book in sync. And I think that's where the situation, that's where the mix-up happened. Unfortunate, but you need to know the situation. You need, as you said, assistant coaches are really important. That's what assistant coaches do during a game.
Well, and the odd thing is, it with the media timeouts in the mix, it doesn't even seem like we've had a lot of timeouts called in this game. So, nevertheless, out of the timeout, Alemany ball, 3:01 left to go. They're up 38-34. Chance to celebrate a state title if they can hold on and prevent any kind of Fightin Irish comeback. Bedoya running the show, almost picks up her pivot foot. Lopez Wood, 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Lopez Wood, another screen, and the 3 goes down. Huge from Lopez Wood. It's a 41-34 ball game. I thought there was going to be another moving screen called on Alemany. Coleman comes back and picks up the blocking foul, and that'll be 1-1, as that's the 17th foul committed by Alemany.
Yeah, I think that was going to go against Obi that time. But a good job here by Lopez Wood coming off that screen and just popping for that 3. I love to see when shooters are able to just take that, get a little bit of space there and just able to put one up.
Summers Luaulu at the line, shoot 1-1. Makes her first, earns a second. 2:29 left to go. Alemany up 41-35. Just one player in double digits for Sacred Heart Cathedral. That's Coleman, who has not had a lot of touches lately. 2-2 effort from, Gaynor with the bucket, the free throw. Fightin Irish fans wanted a dribbling violation called on Bedoya. Don't get it. 2:15 left to go. 12 on the shot clock. Alemany on offense. We've got a foul away from the ball.
They're really mixing it up. Lualulu is really mixing it up down there defensively. Lopez Wood trying to come off that screen. Doing a good job that time of closing it tight there coming off that tight screen there on Bedoya, and it forced Lualulu to pretty much push Bedoya off the block.
That's her 4th personal, 8th team foul as Kaloyan comes in. Howard has a seat. I don't know if I'd take Howard out of the ball game. She has been a spark offensively. Bedoya earns another.
Yeah, Sacred Heart Cathedral needed a good game here from Summers Lualulu, and only for going with 2 points today. It's been a tough afternoon for her.
Misses her second. Gaynor there with the rebound. Kaloyan with the ball, 36-42. Fightin Irish trailing. Coleman with the putback from the weak side. It's a 4-point ball game.
Haven't seen enough of Coleman here in the second half and need to get her much more involved.
Kaloyan pestering Bedoya. Minute 45 left to go.
Here comes that pick and roll play.
Bedoya with the move to lose Kaloya. A runner with the right hand from the left side. I believe that's a player control foul after the miss. Her first personal. Minute 37 left to go. Fightin' Irish ball.
Yeah, it looked like Bedoya had opened herself up for a moment, but as you said, just charging into the player down there on the block. Good job there by the Irish to step in there and take that charge.
Saw down to 90 seconds. Summers Lualu driving the lane with the left hand. So strong, misses badly, and she's called and reaching in. Just I'm sorry to say, no finesse around the net for the Fightin' Irish with the exception of Coleman.
No, they're really, really forcing things here late. And you can see, I think that was just a frustration foul there by the type of game that Lualulu has. And unfortunately, she fouls out. She's gone 1 for 14 today. A tough afternoon here for Lualulu, but give credit here to the Alemany defense to making it very difficult on her and the rest of the Fightin' Irish.
1:26 remaining. Obi at the line to shoot 1-1. Her team up 42-38. Earns herself another. That was clutch.
Very, very poised at the line right now.
Taking her time. Deep knee bend. Rims out the second.
It looked good all the way up until the very end.
5-point deficit for the Fightin' Irish. They have 1:20 to stage a comeback. Another runner finding an open look. It doesn't fall.
Kirsten, they have time to run a set. They're only down 5. Two-possession game.
Calhoun running the show. Minute left. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Johnson sets a screen. Blocked by Coleman off the attempt by Calhoun, but she collects. Lopez Wood gets it away, but shot clock violation, and Fightin' Irish have it. They're off and running, 43 seconds remaining. I'd find Coleman right now. She's hanging on the right post. And they're saying a foul before the shot. A shot went down, but they're saying a blocking foul, so it'll be 1-1. That puts Howard at the line. Howard 2 of 2 from the line.
And Kirsten, I hate to say that a team got bailed out, but it didn't look like Sacred Heart Cathedral had anything going there. And it seems to me that they get bailed out there on that call. And that's what I'm disappointed there in the Fightin' Irish, is that they have time, but they seem to be rushing things so much and so hard on the offensive end. 36
seconds remaining. At the line is Howard. Her team trails 43-38. 1-1 opportunity. Nothing but net.
Very, very calm and poised. Good job there at the line there by Kyrie Howard. Needs to get this next one.
Howard, the 6th man on the squad, a 5'4" junior. She led her team with 12 in the NorCal Regional win over St. Ignatius, a West Catholic Athletic League team. Larios back in on offense after Howard makes her second. It is a 1-possession ball game. 36.8 seconds remaining. Alemany 43 with the ball. Sacred Heart Cathedral 40.
Here's a full court press.
Larios. And Larios quickly fouled by Smith.
And for me, I don't know if that's overplay or defensive, if that was the idea to go defensively. I understand it was late on the clock, with under 40 seconds, what they had, the 38 seconds or whatnot to inbound. You had some time to try to go for the steal, but instead of,
And it's double bonus, too. Larios with the genuflect before her free throw attempt didn't help in that case.
No,
she missed her first. Makes her second. It's a 4-point ball game, 35 seconds remaining. Obi checks in. Remember, 1 timeout left for Alemany, none for Sacred Heart Cathedral. They haven't had one since back the 4-minute 17 marker. But Fightin Irish with the ball. Kaloyan bringing it up quickly. Kaloyan from the right side in the paint. She has been off her mark. Loose ball underneath the bucket. There's a strip by Alemany.
Now you get a foul.
Alemany. Oh, and what an opportunity for Howard. It looked like Howard had the steal. Instead, she made contact at the last moment. 15.9 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Alemany fans starting to feel it. But it's not over.
Bedoya, a freshman at the line.
She's going to have to make at least one of these here.
44-40. Again, 15.9 seconds remaining. Shooting 2, makes her first.
She doesn't look nervous.
She's smiling.
Yeah.
This is fun. Lots of smiles out on the floor for Alemany players. Makes both, 46-40. Fightin Irish quickly trying to get the ball up. Kaloyan, the sophomore, throws it away.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Sacred Heart Cathedral, probably pressing too much. Give credit to Alemany defense, though, forcing some of those turnovers.
Alemany fans chanting. What a rooting section has traveled up from the school. Loose ball on the floor, picked up by Alemany. Clock winding down. And Alemany has done it. Alemany, the 2013 CIF Division III champs, a 46-40 victory over Sacred Heart Cathedral.
You can hear the crowd behind us. Alemany really showing up big here at Sleep Train Arena, traveling all the way up from Mission Hills down in the southern section. And what wonderful spirit here by the Alemany crowd.
46-40, Alemany with the victory. Unbelievably tight game. You have to give credit to Coach Camacho. Maybe it was that pregame speech that did it after all.
We talked about it. You talked about it pregame there, Kirsten, and we mentioned how important a coach plays to a young squad, and he really did a great job of getting his team out here, getting them ready to play. It would have been amazing to be able to be in that locker room to hear that pregame speech.
Alemany Warriors, a state champion. We are going to step away and return with the PlayOnSports.com postgame show where we will pick our player of the game. But Alemany representing Southern California well, a 2013 D3 Girls Champ. Back at Sleep Train Arena, the D3 title game. Well, it's gone to Southern California. Alemany Warriors out of Mission Hills with the victory, a 46-40 decision over Sacred Heart Cathedral of San Francisco. This one pretty tight back and forth, but Alemany, I think, the size, the play of Johnson in the paint proved to be the difference.
Oh, absolutely. And when the only size advantage, the only opportunity they have